All right. Hey, bro, how you doing, man?
How you doing, bro? I'm good.
Excellent, excellent. How's the day?
Good. Just getting started. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So you want to start with some introductions? Yeah, why don't you tell us, tell us about yourself, who's Amir, and I'll do an introduction as well.
Sure. Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Amir Zargara. I'm originally from Iran. Spent half my life in Iran, the other half in Canada. I'm based in Canada now. And our film's called A Good Day Will Come.
Awesome. And myself, I'm Jelan Maxwell. I'm from St. Lucia originally, but have been in Canada for about 20 years now. I'm a cinematographer, was a cinematographer on A Good Day Will Come. Yeah, that's me. Awesome. So Amir, why don't you tell us, why don't you talk about the film a little bit? Give us the, some of the background of how the film came to be, what it's about, what you're trying to accomplish with it. Yeah, just give us some background.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, the film is called A Good Day Will Come. And it's about an Iranian wrestler who has to decide if he's going to stand up to the oppressive regime and face the consequences of his actions, or he's going to keep his head down and keep providing for his family, and keep wrestling, and essentially have no honor. And the main character in the film, inspired by a real person, his name was Navid Afkari, who was executed by the Iranian regime 4 years ago. I first heard of Navid's story a year and a half before his execution. His mom had started this campaign to get the word out and to essentially garner support for him, as they realized they had no way through the judicial system in Iran, and it was going to be a sham trial and all that, and yeah, and that's the first time I heard of it, and then the original. Actually, yeah, I'll just send it there.
Yeah. So, can you talk about Navid? So, talking about Navid's story, like, could you talk about like why you decided to basically go about the film in the way that you did? Because obviously that story is complicated and there's a lot of different elements to it. Can you talk about why you decided to tell it the way you did, and as opposed to strictly the exact true story?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, again, it's important to say that the film itself is fictionalized, but again, the character and the character's journey is inspired by Navid, and yeah, I mean, originally I didn't want to touch the story. Of course, it's I mean, like making any film is hard enough, and making a film by your own people is it comes with its own set of criticism and just stuff that you don't want to deal with, and especially in this case, because like first of all, I didn't think I was good enough to tackle this subject matter at first. So it's like I put it off for a few years. I'm like, okay, somebody more established in the Iranian community outside of Iran is going to tackle this. And then a few years go by, and people still don't. And then I was like, and then yeah, I had other problems, just like internal, like moral conflicts. Like, okay, because I don't want anything to get back to his family. He's got two brothers who's still serving sentences, and I also didn't want my extended family to be affected, and like and what that would mean, and like of course I can't go back anymore because of this. And yeah, it was just like it was like various things at bay. So, but the original approach to the material was a docudrama. The and yeah, we ended up with a draft that was again like true to various counts that we could find online, and our take on that was also like we didn't want to get in touch with the family, because again, like there are various approaches here that I did discuss with people, with esteemed filmmakers back home, and like, okay, like what's the right approach here, and then essentially like what we found that like every time that the family would get support from someone that from outside, and then they would like use them. They would use that against them somehow in the Iranian government, will use that against Nabi's family. The mom was always like, well, we don't know those people. So like whatever they said has nothing to do with us, or whatever they did. So that essentially ended up becoming our approach, which is like, okay, like let's have no contact, and let's just go and try to do this docudrama like based on facts available online. You know, there are various recordings from the trial, from the lawyer, from the mom, from various angles. And then we ended up with a draft that wasn't, I felt like it was too dry. I wasn't able to build the empathy I wanted in the audience for the character, and for the Iranian people as a whole. And so I put it aside for a few months, and then on one cold night, I'm just driving back, like it's after midnight. I'm just driving back from the gym, and I had a song playing by Hitchcast, who's like known as the godfather of rap in Iran, and Hitchcast, his name means no one in English, and I've been like listening to him since like middle school, since he started rapping, and I was in Iran back then as well. And I've heard this song "A Good Day Will Come" so many times. So this song is called "A Good Day Will Come," and then it starts with "A good day will come that we won't kill each other." And then once I heard that, is that I had the image of the lead of the fictionalized version. I saw the new draft that of the lead at the protest with his hands up, facing his own people, you know, pointing guns at them, and that image came to me, and then within a week I kind of had a structure and kind of a first draft of this fictionalized version that's inspired by, and then that made me feel a lot better in various angles, because now the name is different of the lead character. It's just like dedication for Naveed at the end, to keep his name alive, and and then it's also like it just like I was able to, like with this draft, I feel like I was able to like touch on other things that the Iranian people are going through, and be able to build more empathy for them, and for the lead character, and be able to
Yeah, could you talk about, so like obviously like just based on what you're just talking about there, you're touching on things outside of the story that are important, or things that impact the Iranian people. And I wanted to touch on the fact that you are in Canada, and a film. So based on seeing other Iranian films, I don't see films like these that talk about these things that are, you know, that are big topics. And could you talk about like, would you have been able to make this film if you were in Iran? And could you talk about, you know, being in Canada and having the ability to make this film? Just talk about that part of it.
Yes. I mean, yeah, the biggest reason that my why, through all the internal moral struggles that I was going through, of like, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? My why was that, okay, well, Naveed's born in 93. I'm born in 93. He's born in Shiraz. I'm born in Ahvaz. It's like a few hours apart. He wrestled. I wrestled growing up. In grade 9, at age 14, 15, I moved to Canada. He doesn't, right? So now I've gained privileges moving to Canada that he didn't, and he still make a stand. He still went to. So it's like, if I have all these privileges here, and it's like, if I don't exercise them, if I don't use them to, and then he ended up, like, I got to a dark place of like, okay, well, I don't even know who I am then at that point. Like, it's like, it's if I'm not trying to tell the story, it's like, you know, then it would be hard to like look at myself in a mirror, and as the lead, it goes through the same struggle as well. So it's like and in our film. And again, that became my driving force, and really again to um, um, to really again to be able to also like, because again also like the take of, I mean, like the news always like shows the actions of the governments, any news, right? Like any country. And then also like again, so like the people is what you don't see a lot of usually, and that's why like film is a powerful tool, because it's about the people of a place. So and their stories and their and their characters and everything. So the like it really also became about, okay, like I really want to differentiate between the government and the people. And now again, the government is made up of people, but then again, I also try to show that in the film, that again, like those people are also between a hard and a rock, between a rock and a hard place. And then all that to say that it's like, that's why the filmmaking is also, it is a way it is in Iran, because so again, and that's also another thing, it goes back to my privilege, which is like, again, like in Iran, you need like 3 different kind of permits to make a film. Like you need the permit on the script level, you need a permit on the cut, like once it's in post, and then you need like I need to ask permission for like where you're gonna show the film, which festivals, like how you're gonna distribute it. So again, like we don't have that here. We could make whatever we want here. So it's like that was also, it goes back to that privilege. So okay, like again, that's why the best of the best of us in back home, they can't make this film, but that's why, maybe they should, and then also goes back to how it's like, again, so like and again, I love Iranian filmmaking, of course, a lot of poetry, a lot of and that's again within our culture. The all the subtext, it's just it's in day-to-day like life, almost like the and then so like our film shows things that like again, like you just can't, like you just won't get approved to like at various stages to shoot, or if they allow you to shoot it, then which they wouldn't, but if they do, then like they're like, okay, well then it's not gonna make the cut, like so and so the again, so like the comment that we've gotten in festivals is like a lot of people are like, oh, I love Iranian films, I see so many Iranian films. It looks and feels so different than like a lot of these Iranian films that I've seen, because and it goes back to, it's like and again, like some, of course, like again, every filmmaker is different and people have different approaches, but I'm sure there'll be filmmakers who wanted to touch on these or explore it visually in the same way and stuff, but again, they're just not able to within the confines of the regime and their laws.
Absolutely. And can you talk about I want to get into the production, but I had a question about the main theme of this, one of the main themes of this film, which is honor. And I think that's something that, like, in a North American society, we don't really think about too much. I think we think about right and wrong, and gray areas and things like that. But the concept of honor, which you talk about a lot, and it's very deeply rooted in this film. Can you talk about like what that means and like why it was important to just weave that so deeply into this film and within Iranian culture, and just talk about honor?
And I mean, that word is such a big, like it's all over the film as well in very different ways, and based on what people have experienced and where they come from, they're going to see some of that and not going to see some of that, and then also goes hand in hand with wrestling, which that goes hand in hand with which that's the metaphor for it's the physical grappling versus the internal grappling with everything that's going on within the character. So it's like so honor is just again, first of all, like just as a wrestling, the first of all, like the wrestling is a national sport in Iran. It's the it comes in our like old poetry, Shahnameh, like the greatest characters in that. It's just like it's like equivalent to like Dante's Inferno. The It's like the main character in that. He's like a steam wrestler, and the honor within that, because again, like wrestling in itself, it's like it's honorable in a sense that like you're not trying to hurt the other person. It's just trying to have you're just trying to win the match, right, by pinning them to the ground, and it's just about to bring joy to your people. Like there's no money in wrestling, right? Like there's no the it's like, so like why are you like putting yourself, and it's so difficult. It's like, yo, why are you putting yourself and your body through all this pain? It's like, and then it comes with like also everything else that like it's like the most honorable people that we look up to, like Ghulam Reza Takhti, like these figures who are like were like saint figures almost. Like they're like and they're seen as so honorable. Like their pictures on the walls of like every wrestling wall, and that comes from like, again, like it's not just about winning also, right? It's about like, it's like, for example, like the reason he's so loved, like Takhti and seen so honorable, because he would do things like, first of all, he would do so much for the people. Like he wouldn't even like want to be in films, because he's like, oh, like people shouldn't pay me to see me, like people should just be able to see me for free. Again, like all these ideologies, like, and again, like everything he would get from the government, like every time he would win a match or whatever, like they would, I don't know, like land and stuff. We would just give that back to the people of that land, and then again, like also like in matches as well, like he would be like, if he sees like his opponent is like injured in like, and again, this like literally happened, he's not shooting for that leg, like let's say like if he's injured in the leg, so and he loses the match, and that's fine, like and that's, he has his honor though, like and the mom of that Russian opponent like hugs him after the match, like, so it's like and then again it goes back to like the character's father, and like, and again, like who we talk about, and like, and we allude to this war that happened, which he went to the war to protect the people and the land, and again, it's again, this word is very inherent, like in it's just very interwoven in so many different ways, and and then yeah, again, like the honor within myself, it's like, again, this is like, it's funny, like you don't think, it's like, yeah, they say like every film of a director is like, it's like autobiography, it's like, and it's like, yeah, like the internal struggle that like he goes through, and the honor, it's again, it's like, does he have honor or not? Like, is he like, it's like, so essentially like these are core questions that like you don't, you're like, yeah, that's just me essentially, like, and I'm trying to deal with my stuff about like, oh, I'm gonna make this film, and I'm okay facing the consequences, but it's not just, doesn't just affect me, like affects my family, like all this stuff that like the character goes through, and it's just like, I know I'm getting kind of long-winded here, but yeah, it's the yeah, I could talk about that from various angles for
No, that's a whole separate conversation. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing about that for sure. Actually, talking about the main character who has to go through this decision. Can you talk about the casting process? Because obviously super talented, like unbelievably talented, especially in some of the expressions and just the way he carries himself. But could you talk about finding that main character of Arash with Sia Ali Koi?
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, we just got so lucky. Like, it's, yeah, they casting that role is, it's very challenging. So like, yeah, first of all, you need an actor who can speak Farsi, who lives outside of Iran, ideally, because if they live inside, then they have to come outside, and they can't go back. So, who's okay with not going back to Iran anymore? Who's already in like wrestling shape, because we don't have enough money to pay for you to get in shape, and who's got a like wrestling background, like martial arts background, because again, I like, we have no money to pay for you to like train, and then yeah, like it's like in my search of 8 months of searching, I found one person, like, who checked all these boxes, and that was Sia, which is short for Sia Bash, with the Sia Ali Puig. So yeah, and he said yes, and I reached out to people, and he read the script, and they liked it, and then yeah, like he brings so much to the table. Like he brings his own wrestling coach, brings his own action designer, brings his own acting coach. Like just like he comes with his team, which I love that. Like he cares so much. Like so like he really took on this role. And again, without him, there's no film. Like and yeah, just appreciative of everything he did. And yeah, like he'll be talking to me about things about like everything that like again, like he's just going so deep like within the layers, because like of course like we talk about everything like intention within the scene, like and he's got this like really like intricate document about like everything, like his thought process of his character, and like his needs and wants, and everything, like breaking it down to the T. And then but like physically he was doing things that like I don't know if people are gonna pick up on, but like it would even like he's like yeah, like he would like he's like yeah, like he had studied like how wrestlers walk and how their arms fall, because it's like he's like yeah, they've been pulling down people like and shooting for their like just like all their life and stuff. And then he's like so the way that he was even he was like walking in the film and stuff, so it's like his shoulders are like naturally like this, and then he was like more like more like this, and he was very conscious of that. Like and just again, just like to that like layer of like meticulous detail, which I love. Like he cares so much, like as I do, as you do, like and I only want to work with those people,
Amazing. Can you talk about casting some of the other characters, Mehdi, Amin, the mom, the just any of the other casting?
Yeah, yeah, like again, we got super lucky with Mehdi. Like he just coming off Holy Spider, which was doing amazing. Like at Cannes, did TIFF. He was nominated for like Best Actor at the German Academy Awards, at the Danish Academy Awards. Yeah, and yeah, I just reached out, and I like I looked at the project, and then yeah, he agreed to come on board, which just like elevated everything. I just like really, because like and then yeah, it made it more real for sure. And then yeah, the other castings were done locally in Turkey, and they were tough, because like so many people are like, so many Iranians, like they want to be a part of these things, but they can't, because of like they want to go back, or like they're worried about their family. Like it's just like and yeah, it's and I feel for them, and so yeah, so I would just appreciate that. Yeah, we could find great people to get in those roles, in those supporting roles.
For sure. And yeah, so you touched on it there. Yeah, we shot in Turkey, and we shot in Istanbul, Turkey. Can you talk about to double for Iran? Can you talk about that process? But actually, more so before getting to Turkey, can you talk about finding the locations to double for Iran?
Yeah, and that was and yeah, like we were in the thick of it. Like we were like shot listing, and I was trying to still figure out where we were gonna shoot, so and yeah, so like that was a long process. Like it took like, I would say like a good again like year, like just talking to like everywhere that has doubled for Iran. I talked to Greece, I talked to Italy, I talked to Jordan, I talked to Kazakhstan, I talked to Morocco, I talked to Georgia, and then I talked to Turkey. All of them, for the budget that we had, it just wasn't possible. Like this script was too ambitious, and then Jordan was looking good for a while. Amending the script, and then finally, I had a chance to talk with the established filmmaker back home, and then he's like, yeah, I told him about my problem. He's like, man, like, he's like, yeah, let me talk to my boy who's based in Istanbul, and Iman, and yeah, like ended up becoming a producer down there, and then he's like, yeah, I think you can do this, and then yeah, within a week, we had a Zoom meeting set up, and Iman said yes, and he was on board. He's like, yeah, I know we can make this happen, and yeah, he really like he brought it up again, like we didn't cut any of the script. Like we shot all the stuff we wanted to shoot. And yeah, shout out to him for making it work. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, can you just talk about what production was like in Istanbul, working with Iman, like getting all the pieces together?
Mm. Yeah, that was. I mean, like, yeah, we had a great experience. Like again, like you were there. It's yeah the so yeah we did like a month of like passive pre-prep, like they're scatting down there and they're sending us pictures and we're like revising our shot list and plans, uh and they're doing some casting like for supporting roles, like what do you think of this, so like we're doing some like remote stuff, and then we get down there and then we have a week of like active prep. We're doing the tech scouts, and we're getting some I'm getting some rehearsals in with the actors that are coming in, some wardrobe fitting, some just like final checks on everything, and then 6 days of production, and then yeah, I got into like post pro like right after in Istanbul, and yeah, like locked the picture before I came back to Canada, and then we finished post sound and score remotely. I mean, the score was being done in Iran, which yeah, and they were bringing in live like Kamancheh players to record and do like we have an amazing score. And yeah, I mean like every department just killed it, like and but yeah, no, like the crew in Turkey is super. I mean, yeah, they know what they're doing. Like they shoot a lot down there, so like they're like super, they know exactly what they're doing, as you experience as well with your department, uh, and yeah, like like on like crazy big scenes, like on the protest scene and stuff. Just like over communication, having boards so like people know exactly at various department levels, at various like okay, like exactly like what's being expected and whatnot, and different decks for different like for art direction, for wardrobe, and then yeah, just being prepared, and yeah, like I guess the only like challenge, if you want to call it that, but it's like like not everyone speaks their language, so but then again, like we have like translators, like we have people within the crew who have an actual role on set, but they also speak all languages, right? Like speak Farsi, Turkish, and English, and yeah, so like I have one in my team, in my AD team, and you have one in your camera department, and to again, sure, it does delay slightly, but internet, I like it. It's like again, like it's so crazy. Like we're in Istanbul making movies. Like what are we gonna complain on? So, yeah.
No, absolutely, and yeah, like taking like this. So this is your second. This was your second film, really, ever, and obviously it's shot overseas. First time shooting overseas. Could you just talk about like, I guess like what's your biggest takeaway after this massive experience? Like what are the lessons learned? It's like what do you bring into the next projects?
I mean, yeah, I learned a lot. It's I learned a lot about myself, about how to approach things, about how things work in the real world. Because we could be kind of a little bit too caught up sometimes on this side of the world, and yeah, there's at some places there's no permit. Like you could get a permit, but it doesn't do anything. Like so it's like, and that's real. Like it's like, and you have to go meet with the elders of the neighborhood or wherever that you are, to get to and get them on board. And as it is, like to an extent here as well, in certain places, but yeah, I know it was I mean, the first film I shot, it was I shot in Ottawa, super contained, super comfortable, and again, just was also very comfortable. But again, just like it was again just a challenge, right? Like there's a lot going on. Like it really like what it taught me, that like it's really like it's all possible. Like it's, if anything, I was just like it's yeah. And again, like it was a massive like learning experience. Like I made a ton of mistakes, as you do on everything. That, it's the first time we're doing a lot of these things. So yeah. But yeah, it just made me, it's like, oh, it's okay. Like, and like, we're not like, we're still delusional optimists, but like, it's all like, it's just slightly more possible, like where we think we could get to or whatever. I don't know. Like, it's just like, but yeah, we have these grander ideas of like what we think we're capable of, just as humans in our life, and you don't know, right? Because you've never done it. So like, you think you can do it, but like, can you really? Like, so and then so like once you go through that, you're like, okay, well, I can do that, and like maybe a little more, like, and then maybe you go do that, and then okay, I can do that. But yeah, just a stepping stone.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think that's actually perfect. Like, I can do that, and a little bit more, and then next time I can do that, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. Yeah, that's beautiful, actually. Yeah, man. Any last word? Anything you want to leave the audience with?
Yeah, thank you. Again, thank you for listening, and thank you for watching the film. And the one thing that comes to mind is, it's, yeah, like we didn't get a chance to travel to a lot of festivals because of course we have no money. But every festival that I was not at, I would always get at least one message back, like from someone in the audience, and they're like, "Oh, like I didn't know about Naveed's name, and now I know, and I looked them up and got to know the full story." Like, and that was all. And that always, like, I was like, oh, like that. It's like it just made me feel like, oh, okay, like it's like, it was all worth it. Like, I'm saying, at least like one more people know his name. His name's not like, it's just, okay, I've done my job, So, and yeah, just to end it on that. And
Well, yeah, man, it was a great process working with you on it. One hell of an experience for sure. And shout out Iman, because I think that's like a big, just like, man, like I think that was something really important. Just seeing a producer that was gonna put so much into this project, like not just get the check and move on to the next whatever, like put his heart and soul into the project as well. I don't think, and Sia and Mehdi and like everybody was trying on this project. So yeah, so it was a great experience, and yeah, great conversation.
yeah, man. Again, bro, I thank you for everything. Again, like I always say, like without Sia, it's not possible. Yeah, like that goes for you as well. Like, like you were on this early when we didn't even know where we were gonna shoot. The casting was still up there, and we were like working on the shots and trying to figure it out. And yeah, and yeah, again, and we have the film to show for it, and I learned what we learned, and trying to make the next one better.
Learned what we learned, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, man. Talk later.
All right, bro.